friend of mine asked me if it was possible in GA4 to report on visitors who land on blog pages and then go and look at non-blog pages. So sort of what percentage of blog visitors go on to look at other content on the website. I think everything's possible. So of course I said yes. It took me a little while to figure it out. And partway through, you'll see there's a little twist and I figured out something super cool. So wait for that. So to report on this, we're going to need to go to Explorations. I'm in my GA4 account. And I generally like to start with a blank exploration. We could start with one of these templates, but they tend to populate dimensions and metrics that I don't need, and I just think it's cleaner that way. Now you would think to do what we want to do, we would use a path exploration. And we certainly can, with a path exploration, look at blog visitors and where they go next. So let's just take a quick look at that. And this one, I'm going to use the template just because it'll be a little faster to show you what I'm talking about. So the default is session start. That's what we want. And then I'm going to go with page path and screen class. And then you can see here, I can see like a blog page and I can see where people go after this page. So that's, if there's a particular blog post I'm interested in, that's a good way to do it. But what I can't do is just get a general view of where do people go next after blog pages. For that, and I can filter this, so I can pick specific pages, but it would be, again, I would have to click on each blog post to see where people go next, A, and then B, I have to go down this whole list and pick the blog posts that just to select just blog posts. So there's a better way to do it. We're going to go back to explorations. I'm going to create a blank exploration. And then the type I'm going to pick is a funnel. So with funnels in GA4 are a lot different than what we thought of as funnels in Universal Analytics. They're really flexible. So we can go for our steps and we can pick these, so I'm going to say blog landing page, and I can start to define steps that are a lot like defining segments if you've done that. So I'm going to say, we'll call it blog visitors, and we are going to say landing page. I'm going to do landing page and query string. I'm going to add a filter, and I'm going to say contains blog. And I'm going to apply that. And then I'm going to say add another step. And so this is step 2. And I'm going to say, in this case, I'm going to say the page path and query string. And I'm going to add a filter and say uh, does not contain blog. And one thing to caution you is you'll notice that it says up here indirectly followed by, and I could change that to directly followed by, but that's in terms of events. And if a user triggers any other event besides a page view along the way, then that's going to be problematic. What you really care about is specifically the next page that they go through to, so leave that way. And we're going to apply that. All right, so now we see, not super impressive. A lot of blog visitors don't go on to visit non-blog pages. That's okay. Not particularly concerned about that. But so now we've answered that question of how many blog visitors go on to non-blog pages. Another thing that we can do in this report that I'll point out is we can add a breakdown dimension. Now, I haven't actually added any dimensions yet. I have to do that to be able to add a breakdown dimension. And I'm going to add the landing page query string, which is my first step. And I'm going to add that as a breakdown dimension. And I can do more than 5. I can't actually do more than 15, which is sort of too bad. Now, what does this tell us? So what this tells us is we can see of users that landed, what percentage went on to a non-blog page. So we can break down like how many by page. So that's pretty useful. That helps us understand like which blog posts are more likely to get people to visit other pages on the site. The thing that I think is a little misleading is it shows them down here again, but since we don't actually have a step 3, this is meaningless. What this is really saying is we're breaking down the blog visitors by the page that they landed on. So I shared this with my friend. I was like, "Yay, I figured it out." And then she was like, "Well, that's cool, but what page did they visit next?" So, okay. We'll look at that. So now I'm going to add the page path and query string dimension into my little palette over here. And then I'm going to drag that into next action. So where is it? If you mouse over here now, it's going to show the next step that the user takes. And we can't actually see it from specific blog posts. That's okay. Oh, sort of spoiler alert, if you download it into a Google Sheet, you will get the breakdown of next pages in a more usable form than just mousing over this, but it's still just 5. So not, not really that helpful, honestly. Okay, so here's what I figured out. If so, mousing over where it says blog visitors, I'm going to right click and I'm going to create a segment from these users. Oh, sorry. What I want to do is go down, create a segment from these people. Okay, so now this is going to be people who land on a blog page and then go to a non-blog page. So I'm going to save this segment. Isn't that weird? Like I have to mouse over this and right click and then I can create that segment. I mean, I sort of wonder how many Easter eggs there are like that in GA4. So now to get on to what my friend was looking for, and yes, this is for you, Jamie. Now I am going to go to create a freeform report, and I'm going to take my dimensions, and you'll notice I've got this segment here. The segment saves in my palette and my exploration. I'm going to then add a row for landing page and query string. I'm going to add a dimension to that row for page path and query string. I don't have a metric yet. I'm going to add sessions as a metric. And I tried adding views, which you would think would work, and the data didn't look right. So I'm adding sessions. Now I'm going to add that as my value. We're getting close. Okay, so now what is this telling us? This is actually just telling us first page, second page. We're going to now add this segment comparison up here. We're not actually going to compare anything. We're just going to leave that as is. I'm going to, little peeve of mine, I don't need a bar chart there. And then last but not least, I'm going to add a filter. I'm going to say that the landing page contains blog. I'm going to apply that. And then I'm going to add another filter. And I'm going to say the page path and query string. Then we're going to scroll down and say does not contain blog. And going to apply that. And we're going to add a few more. I don't think I have that many to look at, but all right, there it is. So now we can see the blog page they landed on, the next page they went to, and the segment is only including people that visited more than one page. So voila, exactly uh, what she was looking for, I hope. Thanks for watching.